is Stevens of Adelaide, 6 votes.
See, Stephen Trigg, the CEO of the Adelaide Crows there with Wayne Carey, and the press conference is about to start shortly. Of course, the King debuted in 1989 for the Kangaroos, playing 244 games, kicked a mammoth 671 goals. He's a 4-time best and fairest player for the Kangaroos back in 92, 93, 96 and 98. And if that's not good enough, he was also runner-up on 3 occasions. He's had an illustrious playing career. He's a 7-time All-Australian. On 5 occasions, he was the Kangaroos' leading goal kicker. And I can tell you that man on his left-hand side there, Stephen Trigg, has played an enormous part in getting Wayne Carey to come to the Adelaide Football Club, because that's what we believe is about to happen. As I said, they are there live at the Hotel Intercontinental. Of course, Wayne Carey's world fell apart back in early March when it was discovered that he was having an affair with his teammate and now captain Anthony Stevens' wife. It's been a pretty rocky road since then, but he's got himself back on track. He was pursued heavily by about 5 other AFL clubs, and at the end of the day, it looks like the Adelaide Crows have secured his services. As I mentioned, he's been an absolute icon for the North Melbourne Football Club, later known as the Kangaroos. He was made captain back in 1993, and they look almost set to go. He's a dual premiership player in 1996 and 1999. Let's hear what they have to say.
This decision was one of the hardest that I've ever had to make in definitely in my football career anyway. All clubs that I've spoken to, not include the 5 clubs that I nailed it down to in the last 3 or 4 weeks. It's been a very difficult one. They've all been totally professional in the way they've gone about it, and could have seen myself easily playing at any of those clubs, because the way they presented their club and the people involved were fantastic. In saying that, I've obviously come to the decision that I would like to play with the Adelaide Crows next year. They've been there from the word go. They were the first club to actually approach me when I decided I'd play football again, and the way they've gone about that has been very, very professional. Like I said, like the other clubs, but my choice is the Adelaide Crows. In regards to commenting on trades and things like that, I will not be commenting on anything like that, because that is something that the Adelaide Football Club and the Kangaroos obviously have to come to some arrangement, so that obviously that I play at the Crows next year. So I won't be answering any questions in regards to that, but I'm really looking forward to playing footy next year with Adelaide.
Any questions?
One more question for you.
Look, I've played football in Adelaide for 3 or 4 years. I left Wagga and moved to Adelaide when I was 13 years of age. I know the place. I've got friends over there. I've got family over there. The professionalism of the Adelaide Football Club, just the whole package really fitted. I love the city. It's a beautiful city. People say it is like a big country town. I'm a country boy, and that appeals to me. So hence that's how the decision was made.
Wayne, how close was the decision? How close were you to maybe being at Collingwood or Hawthorn decision?
Yeah, like I said before, it was a really difficult decision, and I honestly found it very hard. After coming out of meetings with clubs, I would actually walk out and sort of picture myself playing with that club, and that's how difficult it was. But after sitting down and after many nights with no sleep and tossing and turning, I just thought that Adelaide was the best fit in all areas, as far as a football club, their professionalism, their team, and the place. I'm really looking forward to that.
Why do you feel that Adelaide maybe had the best chance for on-field success in the next couple of years of the clubs that you've narrowed down?
You know, look, that's not something that was upmost in my thinking. Obviously, Adelaide are sitting 3rd on the ladder at the moment, which is fantastic, but that wasn't the clincher. I think a few of the clubs that I've spoke to are all in the finals at the moment, And you know, obviously the fact that I know a few of the boys that play with the Crows. You know, they're good blokes, and they are a very good side, and that obviously helps in the overall decision. But definitely wasn't the reason for picking Adelaide just for that reason.
Which Crows players helped convince you to come across, mate?
Oh look, I got to know a few of the guys, the 1998 Island series, Mark Rasciuto and Mark Bickley and those guys. You know, Nigel Smart, Ben Hart. You know, all of those guys I've had something to do with over the years, and you know, they were very supportive of it, and I appreciate that, and looking forward to having a kick with them.
Well, it's a small town, you said it's about the country town. How will you deal with the scrutiny in a town that size? There's a great deal of scrutiny on all the players, the programmes, how will you talk about it?
Well, I don't see the difference between Adelaide and Melbourne and or Sydney. I mean, I go out and have a beer in Melbourne, and that's scrutinised, as it will be in Adelaide, and I appreciate that. It's something that really doesn't concern me. I don't think it matters where I play football. It's always going to be scrutinised. I appreciate that. I have to learn to cope with that and deal with that, and that's obviously something that I'll be doing in Adelaide.
What degree was the decision about where you wanted to live, and to what degree was the decision about where you wanted to live?
Weeks ago, and yeah, had dinner with 5 or 6 players, with obviously people on the board of the Crows.
And the fact that they were willing to, or keen to embrace you, was that a factor?
No, all the clubs, all players from all clubs have phoned me. It's not just the Adelaide Crows that I've spoken to. Adelaide Crows players, that is. You know, I've had phone calls from obviously Hawthorn players, Essendon players. I've had meetings and sat down with you know, the Essendon boys, and you know, had a talk and all that sort of. So it was all clubs that I had that involvement with. I didn't just talk to Adelaide players. It wasn't like that. I actually did that with all, and also Sydney as well.
Well, how long are you going to play for? And what's the deal? Is the deal done?
Yeah, notwithstanding the fact that we need to, as Wayne has already said, go through the exercise with the Kangaroos. We get that done, it's a 2-year deal. And we'll start with that. We'd be hopeful that Wayne could play for longer, but it starts with a 2-year deal. Just to free up a number, you think? That's a pretty drastic move. Look, I think what's going to happen, it's pretty clear to us, based on the speculation so far, is that there will be a lot of discussion, speculation and hype about just who we do trade out and how that happens. And I will make this point pretty clear, is that from our club's point of view, we play round 22 this week, and then we've got a final series to undertake. Between the end of this conference and October 24, we won't say anything publicly about it, because we've got a very important final series to undertake. I mean, it's your prerogative to be able to go through and speculate and do all that sort of stuff. But from our point of view, it just doesn't bear contemplating. There's a couple of reasons for that, and I think you'll find them pretty plausible. One is that, you know, you haven't made the complete assessment about your own list until the season's absolutely over. And secondly, you need to make some further assessments about the draft pool, and to see what value there is attached to various picks. So, you know, you can't really make that decision until the season's over. And certainly we don't want to make any comment about it, because we've got players that are coming up. One of the questions probably is going to be, well, how are the players going to cope with it? And my mind goes back, and I said to somebody this morning, my mind goes back to 97 and 98, when, as you know, the draft or the trading week was, you know, in a couple of days immediately after the grand final. And so we've been through all that before, and we understand that that can put pressure on, but I'd like to think that our playing group is mature enough to handle the speculation, but I'd underline the fact that our club won't partake in any discussion about it after this show this morning.
How are you going to deal with the Kangaroos as one of the